It's probably going to be up there for one of the more challenging years for soil compaction in particular.
Rainy springtime conditions across the Golden Horseshoe and southern Ontario have left large chunks of farmers' fields with some poorly established crops thanks to compacted soil.
This spring, because of the weather conditions, I only got half of this crop seeded, half of the cover crop.
Drew Spolstra, a Binbrook farmer and president of the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, explains when the soil is too wet during the planting season, the weight of equipment like tractors compresses the soil, making it dense and hard for roots to establish and absorb the water. He tells us this year the problem hit the GTA, but growers as far as Lambton and Essex were also vulnerable. The OFA sharing these photos taken at a farm nearby, showing large sections with sparse growth. Spolstra telling us it can take a while for the land to recover, showing us this section of his field that was compacted 3 years ago, still giving him trouble.
I could tell right away this spring that this particular area of the field wasn't going to yield like the rest of the areas across this field. So you can tell still right now that this wheat stubble, is thinner on the ground compared to just over the little hill here. There's quite a bit heavier crop of wheat stubble over there and straw. And so
is that why it looks so much fuller?
Absolutely, yeah.
Adding there are ways to help loosen up the soil, but it's not exactly like switching on the kitchen light.
We're going to plant a cover crop yet this summer, probably with something like a tillage radish or something with a deep root to get in and really try and break up some of that soil.
When a strip like this gets compacted, the yield, how much do you expect it to drop from that chunk of land?
Well, it could vary from, I'm going to say kind of 30 to 70%.
But if you're worried that this might hurt at the grocery store, there's some good news.
The harvest in North America, not just in Eastern Canada, harvest in North America has been pretty solid this year. We don't expect prices to be impacted by the fact that some areas in Ontario were impacted by too much water in the spring.
Sylvain Charlebois is the Senior Director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University. He says the big picture across the continent is better than last year and that our farmers at home are in a position to ride out this year's compaction problem.
We tend to underestimate our farmers' resiliency. I mean, they actually deal with nature all the time.
Spolstra agrees and adds with the exception of tender fruit, the summer growing conditions have been great for most crops.
It's really the extremes we don't want to see. We don't want to see extreme droughts. We don't want to see extreme flooding.
In Binbrook, Ontario, David Zura, City News.